Margit the Fellowman acts as the gatekeeper to Stormvale Castle and is probably one of the toughest early game bosses that you can find in the lands between. I don't know about you, but Margit has given me and possibly a lot of players who were new to the Souls like genre a very tough time. But it doesn't have to be like that. This guide will showcase a safe and easy way to beat Margit if you're struggling with consistently dying to him, and a way to no hit Margit to those that are looking to try no hit. I made this guide because when you search Margit guide on YouTube, you get a lot of 4-year-old videos that may not have the most up-to-date ways to dodge him. And when you search Margit no hit guide on YouTube, you get a lot of videos that are primarily talking about how to script the fight and not how to learn the boss and consistently no hit him with every weapon. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you how to use positioning, strafing, and jumping to effectively punish Margit with any weapon types while also avoiding his nasty dagger and sword combos that make it difficult to no hit this boss. One final thing before we begin this guide is that I'll be separating his moveset in phase 1 and phase 2. So without further ado, let's learn how to no hit Margit. Part 0. Positioning. The most important thing about the Margit fight is positioning, which is mainly because of two reasons. Number 1, in phase 2, being positioned incorrectly will lead to moves that are essentially frame traps, causing you to get hit, and the easiest way to avoid these or dodge these is by positioning yourself correctly. And number 2, Margit changes his moveset depending on positioning. Let's take his hammer slamming move as an example, which is this move right here. Now, if you go backwards and tap the sprint key a little bit, he's gonna give you a strafe punish, and this is guaranteed. Whereas, if you just roll forwards or if you have closer distance, he's gonna do a 6-hit combo, as you can see right here. Depending on the situation, we can use positioning to give ourselves bigger punish windows. So, with that being said, where do we want to position ourselves? We want to position ourselves in front of him, but not extremely close to him, as that in phase 1 will lead to you getting clipped by his knife, or in phase 2 will lead to you getting clipped by his dagger or sword combos. We also ideally don't want to position ourselves too far away from him. As you can see in the clip, he's going to give us very massive punish windows just because we are sticking close to him, and he's not going to jump away much or use his daggers. With our positioning basics being covered, let's move on to the first part where we will cover his phase 1 moveset. Part 1. Phase 1. Starting off with his phase 1 moveset, it primarily consists of his cane and some of his dagger moves. To successfully get through both phases without getting hit, there is just one move with his cane that you need to be on the lookout for, which is this move, where he raises his cane from the ground up and then slams it down. This is the one move where he can follow up with his knives, and as you can see, I end up getting hit. Now, while this move is possible to dodge, it also ends up comboing into his knife moves, and that makes it very inconsistent to dodge because those knife moves are often very close to being frame traps or sometimes are frame traps. So the best way that I would suggest to dodge this move is just by completely disengaging, as you can see in this clip right here. Now before we go on to the rest of his moves, let's just talk about the dagger moves for 1 second. Now the only way to dodge the dagger moves is either if you are up close rolling to the right where you still sometimes risk getting clipped at medium roll, or if you have the ideal distancing that I had shown before, then you just roll backwards, and this is also going to come very handy in phase 2. Now moving on to the cane moveset, there is one easily punishable move, which is this move where he holds the cane up with both of his hands. If you just walk to the right, you get this massive punish window where you can either use it as an opportunity to heal or as an opportunity to input at least one charged R2 from a Colossal. This move also has a variation at medium range. As you can see when he starts sprinting and he's going to input 2 slashes. But to be honest, if you have your positioning right, you are never going to encounter this move, and so just a double roll is enough. And let's move on to the other movesets. The next move and its variation is going to be shown right here, and this is what I call the plain slow slashes. To dodge and punish both these moves, we're going to roll back and then we're going to walk or sprint forward till we see him raising his cane and walking towards us. At which point we're going to strafe forward and just give a big charge dart to punish. For both these moves, here's a visual aid on when to sprint. The next move is the tail swipe, which can either be rolled or be punished with a jump. If everything has been fine so far, then well, thou art of passing skill. Now let's get on to part 2, phase 2. Phase 2 starts with either Margit retreating or just directly pulling his hammer and doing a slam attack. Fun fact, you can actually jump the hammer and then you can walk forward and then you can punish him again. However, I have found that to not be as consistent as the jump timing needs to be very precise, so just roll the 2 attacks and then off to phase 2 we go. So what's different in phase 2? Well, in phase 2 he gains access to a spectral sword and a spectral hammer alongside his daggers, and he gets new combos. You remember the ideal positioning that we talked about at the start of this video? This is where it's going to come in handy with Margit's sword combos. Now Margit has 2 possible variations of the sword combos. Right now you're seeing the first variation and I'm going to show both the variations right now. For the combo where he starts in neutral, just roll backwards twice, and when you roll right to dodge the dagger, the same rule applies, just roll backwards twice. Another thing to keep in mind is that he can start this combo when you catch up to him. So when he's going far away from you and you catch up to him, just remember to start walking when you get very close to him, or else you're gonna get trapped while trying to change directions. The next of his moves is his 4-hit spin combo, which he can do in one of these 2 situations. Number 1, he hit you with the hammer slam attack and you dodged him and you're in mid range. Number 2, he can do it when he does his tail swipe, and those are the only 2 times when he does this combo. Now this combo is actually very simple to dodge, though it might look intimidating. Just do 3 rolls to the left one after the other without any input delays, and you'll get a nice little punish window at the end of it. Next up is the hammer slam. You want to dodge this move while rolling backwards just as the stick is about to connect to you. As shown in the 4-hit sword combo, you can also in mid-range get the 4-hit sword combo, but then I'm gonna show you a better punish, which is this one. Roll back and then input the slightest bit of sprint backwards, which is gonna cause him to give you the same strafe punish that I have shown before. And this brings us to some fringe cases. There are some cases where because of arena differences or because of some situations where you might be tempted to roll in some other way, he might do some other moves. But be assured that those are also very easy to dodge, and 99 times out of 100, you're not going to see them. While I'm doing my outro, I'm just going to let this uncut hitless Margit fight with a +0 Uchi Katana play in the background. If you are still watching towards the end of the video, I really appreciate it. And I'm very new to YouTube, so any sort of constructive criticism would be really appreciated. I'm gonna do the usual YouTuber begging and ask you to like, subscribe, share, and comment this video. And I am also going to be looking towards making more guides in the future. I was initially planning on just following the entire journey of the Tarnished through the lands between and covering Godric in the next fight, but to be honest, Godric is a very boring fight, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to cover him. Although I will be making more hitless guides and videos in the future, and definitely expect a Malenia hitless guide in the future because I'm very excited to make that video. I'm also planning on creating some content on Elden Ring Convergence, as it's a mod that I have sunk quite a few playthroughs in already, and I think it's very interesting, although has its own problems and is a little bit unbalanced. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.